Good evening, my lovely viewers. Welcome to Eugene TV. Let's take a look at this question. And this question is based on balancing of chemical equation. Alright, the question says balance the following chemical equation. Balance the following chemical equation. While we are growing up and we are beginning our academic journey in secondary school, far back in secondary school, these were the reason why so many people slacked back and ran away from becoming science students, because they felt the most or the hardest thing in chemistry or in science is how to balance chemical equation. But I want to put that phobia away, that balancing of chemical equation is the simplest we can ever encounter in chemistry. So if you know you have any problem on how to balance chemical equation, please do well to give me a DM. Follow my channel on YouTube, Eugene TV. You can follow me also on TikTok, Eugene TV 101 for more. Alright, let us go on this. Alright, the question says we should balance the following chemical equation. Let's take a look at what chemical equation is first. A chemical equation simply refers to a change whereby substances called reactants are converted to another form of substance known as product. Let me take that again. Whenever we have a chemical change, or when we have a change in which substances referred to as reactants are converted to another form of substance called product, what has taken place there is known as chemical reaction. Now, the mathematical representation of the substances or the change that has occurred is what is called chemical equation. The mathematical representation of the change that have taken place during chemical reaction is what is called chemical equation. Now let me give you a few things you need to know about chemical equation. In chemical equations, the way chemical equations are written is such that it is divided into two sides. We have the left-hand side. Before the arrow, chemical equation usually will contain an arrow telling you that the substances on the left combine to give you the substances on the right. Mind you, the substances that are formed usually can be two or more or one. Alright, so this is left-hand side of the equation, whereas this is the right-hand side of the equation. Meaning that a chemical equation must always contain left-hand side and right-hand side. And usually, all the substances to the right-hand side, or sorry, to the left-hand side, let's talk about the left-hand side. All the substances found to the left-hand side of the equations are known as reactants. They are known as reactants. The reactant is coming from the fact that they are the ones that reacted, or they are the ones that combine. Okay, so the ones to the right-hand side of the equations are the ones we refer to as products. They are the ones we refer to as products, meaning that they are the ones, they are the substances that are being produced. So a chemical equation will usually contain the reactant sides and the product side. Or we can say the left-hand side, which is also the reactant side, and also the right-hand side, which is the product side. Alright. Okay, so let us show ourselves another thing again. Now, we are all conversant with the fact that whenever we see chemical equation, we normally see letters written in bracket like this, such as X in bracket, sometimes L in bracket, G in bracket, and sometimes AQ in bracket. All these things have meanings. So let us give ourselves the meaning of all this. Take for example, just like we have here, H2, we are seeing G here. This G here in the chemical equation simply stands for gas. Meaning that the physical state of that substance there is in gaseous form. Okay, so if you see something like X, it means that the physical state of that substance is solids. If you see something like L, it means that the physical state of that substance is liquid. And if you also see something like aqueous, it means that, okay, let us see aqueous. It means that that substance is dissolved in water. It is in solution form. And of course, the solvent there is water. That is the meaning of the word aqueous. Alright? These are the few things we need to know about chemical equation. Now, let us give ourselves rules on how to balance chemical equation. There is probably no true rule on how to balance chemical equation, alright? But few rules that can always guide us and help us anytime we encounter a problem on how to balance chemical equation. Number one, we should know that balancing chemical equation will follow a law called law of conservation of mass. The law of conservation of mass. Of course, the law of conservation of mass says that matter can neither be created nor be destroyed during chemical reaction. but can be converted from one form to another. Meaning that whenever substances are reacting, the number of atoms that are reacted must always be equal to the number of atoms that are being produced. Alright? So we can have a gas combining with a gas, and then we end up producing a liquid. That does not mean that an atom is being created or being destroyed. The only thing that has happened is that they change form. That is what that law is all about. And that law always ensures that chemical equation is balanced. How do we balance chemical equation? Rule number 1. Always put coefficient in front of the formula. Don't always put coefficient behind the formula. Take for example, there are things people do. Take for example, if I have something like H2 and I reacted it with O2 to give me H2O. Okay, this is the equation for the production of water. There are some people, if they see equation like they'll just say that okay, because they say that the number of atoms we have on the left hand side must be equal to the one we have on the right hand side. They will not come and say, okay, oxygen is 2 here. And say, sorry, hydrogen is 2 and we have 2 here, no problem. But we have 2 oxygen here, oxygen is only 1. Some persons, the mistake they do, they will just simply come here and fix 2 here. Please, this is very, very wrong. So we are saying that in an attempt for you to balance any chemical equation, don't always put numbers in front. Rather, you should put number behind. Remember, any number you put behind or before a formula becomes a coefficient. So do not be tempted to always come and fix number in front of a formula. Rather, you should fix it before the formula. Because if you do that, when you put 2 here, you have automatically change this. This is no longer going to be water that you want to balance. This changes substance to hydrogen peroxide. And in reality, hydrogen gas does not combine with oxygen gas to produce hydrogen peroxide. So let us be guided. Let us be guided. Alright, rule number 2. Rule number 2 is that if you want to balance chemical equation, always use simple whole number. Don't go and use fractional number like, let's say, 1.5 or 2.6. No, always use whole number, and there should always be some simple one. Number like from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, as the case may be. So, alright. So let us see how we can balance this equation. Now, looking at the equation before us here, there are 2 atoms of hydrogen on the left hand side, and there are also 2 atoms of hydrogen on the right hand side, meaning that hydrogen is balanced, no problem. So look at the oxygen we have here. There are 2 atoms of oxygen on the left hand side, whereas there are only 1 oxygen atom on the right hand side, meaning that oxygen is not balanced. We have done our atom count. The number of oxygen on the right is 1, whereas on the left is 2. Okay, so how do we balance for oxygen? We look for appropriate coefficient that can help us to balance the oxygen on 2 sides. So let us say we put 2 here. That means that oxygen is balanced. If a number is placed before a formula, that number will affect everything in that formula. So we now have 2 oxygen atoms here, and we also have 2 oxygen atoms. But we have created problem for hydrogen. Although we have 2 hydrogen on the left hand side, here now means that we have up to 4 hydrogen atoms. Because we are going to multiply these 2 by whatever that is here. So that means that 2 times 2, we now have up to 4 hydrogen, whereas here we have only 2. So what do we do to balance for hydrogen? So we can just put 2 here as a coefficient here. It will mean that 2 times 2, 4 hydrogen also. In this case, that means the hydrogen is balanced here, and also hydrogen is balanced here. So let us do our atom count and confirm, or to be certain, if the equation is balanced. The number of hydrogen on the left hand side is 4. On the right hand side is 4. Hydrogen is balanced. For oxygen, we have 2 oxygen, and on the right, we have 2 oxygen. So this equation is balanced. This equation is balanced. Are we following our simple step? Alright? If you have a problem on how to balance chemical equation, please do well to follow my YouTube channel, Eugene TV. You can follow me also on TikTok, Eugene TV 101 for more of that. Alright, I want to put one equation here on the board for you to try and balance from what we have seen. Assume we have something like aluminium, metal. So if I have S here, that's something that aluminium is solid. The physical state of aluminium is solid. And it's combining with oxygen. Oxygen is a gas, so that they form aluminium 3 oxide, Al2O3. Can we balance this equation? Please just take 1 minute and see how you can balance this equation. Okay, have we been able to balance it? Okay, let us work it together. Now, looking at this equation here, it says that aluminium combined with oxygen to form aluminum oxide or aluminum 3 oxide if you want. Look at, we have one atom of aluminum on the left hand side, whereas on the right hand side we have 2 aluminum. That means aluminum is not balanced. So what will happen if we decide to say we put 2 here, it will mean that we'll have 2 aluminum here, but we'll have 2 aluminum here also, so it is balanced. Alright, let us balance the oxygen. We have total of 2 oxygen on the left hand side, whereas on the right hand side we have total of 3 oxygen, so they are not balanced. What do we do to balance oxygen atom? What if we decide to add 3 here? If we put 3 here, it will mean 6 oxygen atom, because it will now be 3 times 2, which is 6 oxygen. Here we have only 3 oxygen, so it is not balanced. What will happen also? What if we decide to put 2 here? It will mean 2 times 3 oxygen, which is still going to give us 6 oxygen. Aluminum also now is not balanced. It will now mean that we have up to 4 aluminum on the right hand side, whereas here we have only 2. So we remove these 2 and put 4 here. So by the time we put 4 aluminum here, I think it will now be balanced with this 2 times 2, 4 aluminum. Okay, for oxygen, 3 times 2, 6 oxygen, and then this 2 times 3. Remember, if a coefficient or if a number is placed before a formula, that number will affect everything that is in that formula. We are having 2 aluminum already, so because of this coefficient 2 here that has been placed before here, it will now mean that 2 times 2 aluminum, which makes it 4. The oxygen that was already 3, it will now be 2 times 3, which makes it 6. So from what we have done here, we have 4 aluminum on the left, 2 times 2, 4 aluminum. We have 6 oxygen on the left, 2 times 3, 6 oxygen, which makes the equation balanced. Alright, I am going to put one more. On here so that you just take the time and balance it and then put it in the comment section. So let us see the equation for the combustion of methane, CH4 gas, burning in oxygen, O2 gas, to form CO2 gas and H2O. H2O is liquid. Can you balance this? Just feel free, balance this and put it in the comment section. You can as well give us the coefficient. Okay, you can balance it. If you have any problem on how to balance chemical equation, whether redox equation, in our next video we are going to deal with how to balance redox equation. Please do well to follow my videos on Eugene TV, on TikTok, on YouTube, then on TikTok Eugene TV 101, and then or even on Facebook. You can also see us there. Follow us and give all the comments you can give, the question that are your question, and then any topic you want us to treat, just put it in the comment section and then we'll treat it in our next video. Thank you and bye for now.